The Brotherhood of Steel are a faction that I made a previous video on. You may have seen it, but you can't see it anymore because I've privated the video. The things I said in that video I don't really agree with anymore. And even at the time of uploading it, I had my reservations, but still, I uploaded it anyway because I thought, meh, whatever. And it gained just over 3,000 views, earning my channel fairly significant exposure. But here I am, completing a recent, pretty in-depth playthrough of Fallout 4's main story, my favorite playthrough so far, siding with the Brotherhood of Steel, which has allowed me the liberty of developing new opinions on them, which are mostly good. Mostly. Real quick, however, if you have seen the previous video, I mainly touched on how Arthur Maxson was a fraud because of the heavy augmentations to his body and that how that makes him no different than the synths he claims to hate. And to be honest with you, this argument isn't really significant because sure, he's part robot, but at the end of the day, he's a human being. He looks human, and he is human. He has a soul, most importantly, and no technology will ever change that. Now, I was actually quite surprised at how much I enjoyed this playthrough, and it wasn't just because of the Brotherhood, there were many other factors, but the fact that on my, I don't even know, 17th playthrough of Fallout 4, I am still able to enjoy the game this much, it's really quite miraculous from where I stand. And a big part of my experience with the Brotherhood was the Ad Victoriam, the Brotherhood of Steel overhaul mod. Not only does it make me feel like a true Brotherhood soldier, but it also just makes them look so much cooler. It makes them more dangerous, and it significantly boosts T60 power armor, giving you an actual reason to wear it over XO1 in the late game. But let's get to more philosophical and moral topics, because that's the real meat and potatoes of this video. I sided with the Brotherhood of Steel because at the end of the day, they are noble, they are honorable, and they have humanity's best interests at heart. Unlike the Enclave, the Institute, or the NCR, who merely see the past as a setback, an obstacle in the progress of humanity, science, or taxes. Let me tell you right now, NCR fans, okay? If you ever show up to my door in the apocalypse and try to get me to pay taxes, I'm blowing your head off. The NCR would sooner continue the senseless and uneducated concept of skewed democracy that led to the corruption of the old world, as opposed to seeing the end of the world as a lesson, a sign that things need to change. The Enclave and the Institute, however, would sooner continue the blind and horrifying progression of the scientists in an effort to play God, as if the apocalypse itself wasn't already enough of a lesson. But the Brotherhood, on the other hand, take a much more favored approach. They see the end of the world as a lesson, a fault in the great journey of humanity. They see the degeneracy and the corruption of the old world, the greed, the senseless ambition, the desire to play God with technologies we barely understand, the paranoia and the disregard for nature and human life. And the one truth that absolute power corrupts. Absolutely. The Brotherhood see this and have made it their mission to correct these faults in humanity and to ensure that it never happens again. They have made it their goal to safeguard not only technology, but humanity itself through the use of superior force, the only way to ensure anything. They will destroy factions such as the Enclave and the Institute, and in my opinion, the NCR, for their foolishness and inability to learn from humanity's grave mistakes. They are a faction of warriors who hold battle and glory in high esteem, which is exactly what we need as a species if we are to survive in this unforgiving wasteland. Those who are stronger will rule, and those who are weaker will submit or be destroyed. That is simply the way of the world. Which leads me to my next point in regards to the second argument I made in my previous Brotherhood video. Dr. Tegan will ask you to procure food from local settlements of the Commonwealth, and will authorize the use of lethal force if necessary. Now, and many people will see this as an act of cruelty, which it absolutely is. And if my memory serves me correctly, I believe that's the point I made in my previous video. And my response to that is, who the fuck cares? Okay, because first of all the settlers of the Commonwealth, all they do is whine. You know what I mean? All they do is whine about their situation and beg the Minutemen General, General, please help us. There are more raiders bullying us again. Please fix our problems for us. Please do everything for us. You know what I mean? My point here is the people of the Commonwealth are losers. Why the hell should I feel bad for them? They do nothing to change their situation. The only way it does change is if you, the player, come along and change it for them, because they lack the balls to do it themselves. And don't even bring up that Commonwealth provisional government stuff, okay? What, they couldn't give it another shot after almost 60 years? Seriously? I get it, I do. The Institute is scary, but come on, guys. You have to at least try. Nothing's gonna change otherwise. But no, they don't even try to change their own situations individually. They would rather sit around, till their crops, and whine. And that, I just can't admire. It's utterly pathetic. So when people in 6-ton war machines with Gatling lasers come along and say, hey, we're getting rid of that boogeyman, you know, the big brother that's been spying on you and terrorizing you from your closet for the past 200 years, yeah, could you please, give us a portion of your crops to help us out, and they refuse, that's just too fucking bad. Because at the end of the day, they are helping you. And if you're too short-sighted to see that, well, that's what my Gatling laser's for, so too bad. So yeah, those are my complaints in regards to the people of the Commonwealth. And yeah, to sum it up, they're just pathetic. And yes, there is definitely honor in the Minutemen routes, getting a bunch of sheep together to protect each other, that's cool. But at the end of the day, I'd rather stick with the winners, you know? Because that's what the Brotherhood of Steel are. They're winners. And winners are better than losers. Okay, now, those are my points. Those are my positive points on the Brotherhood of Steel. So let's get to the negative ones, of which there aren't very many. But essentially, I want to talk about their blind hatred of synths. Synths, ghouls, and super mutants. The Brotherhood of Steel seems to hate these groups simply just because they are what they are. Simply because they exist. Like, for example, they hate synths just because they're synths. And I find this painfully unrealistic. Because, you know, most of the time, when you hate something, you have a specific reason for it. That's hopefully quite justified and understandable. But the Brotherhood seems to lack these reasons, in some areas at least. First of all, mutants are definitely the most justified one, because super mutants literally kidnap people and turn them. But the fact that they don't take advantage of Dr. Brian Virgil developing a cure is just flat out stupid, and again, painfully unrealistic. It's just bad writing in my opinion. Makes no sense. So next up we have ghouls. And for this one, I personally don't really care about ghouls as a group. Sure, yes, they are absolutely undeniably different from humans, but does that mean we have to hate and exterminate them? Not really. I mean, they don't really pose an active threat to humanity, unlike the super mutants, and so long as they're not polluting our cities or organizing armies against us, I honestly am pretty indifferent. And besides, there are some pretty interesting ghoul followers in Fallout, such as Raul from New Vegas, or more notably Hancock, who is just the coolest dude ever, okay? I'm not giving up Hancock for the world, he's just too great. And finally, we have synths. Generation 3 synths, specifically, obviously. This one is most certainly the most foolish belief of the Brotherhood because synths are literally just people. Sure, they're synthetic, being a combination between technological and biological matter, but they're people at the end of the day, with souls and feelings just like everyone else, after they break out of their programming, of course. What's there to hate? And in case anyone's misunderstanding me here, the problem with synths doesn't lie with the synth itself, it lies with the institute. Think of the synths as a leaf on a tree and the institute as the actual tree itself, being the root of the problem. Pun actually not intended. That's interesting, I didn't think of that. But anyway, yes, I do think the synth could, in a distant future, pose a threat to humanity, being some sort of Terminator situation. And to be honest, yes, the very existence of the synth is a mockery of nature, an impersonation of it. But I don't blame the synth for that. I blame the Institute for creating these things. And I also blame the Institute for many other abominations of technology, such as the continuing of the forced evolutionary virus, or in other words, the super mutant. I mean, hell, need I list examples of synths littered all over the Commonwealth, some of whom we even know and trust among our closest allies? Spoiler alert, by the way, I know it's been like 8 years, but still. Paladin Dance, Sturges, Nick fucking Valentine, okay guys? You know, Mayor McDonough, Magnolia, even you, the main character, if you've seen my theory video. These are all people in the realest sense of the word. They have souls and are alive. I see no reason to blindly hate Nick Valentine or Dance just because of the way they are. In fact, I think it's incredibly stupid and will never agree with the Brotherhood on that fact, specifically on hating synths. I can definitely understand super mutants, and I can kind of understand ghouls, but not synths. The problem lies with the creator, not the creation. So, yes, there we have it, guys. My full, reconsidered, well thought out opinion on the Brotherhood of Steel. Despite their racism that doesn't really make sense, at least in some aspects, I still side with them overall because I truly do believe in the nobility of their goal, the preservation and integrity of humanity, and the destruction of malicious actors such as the Enclave and Institute, or foolish ones like the NCR. Ad Victoriam, my fellow lore masters, and I will see you in the next video. Wind guide you.